Now that we've rescued Chamomile from the bedtime tea corner because nobody puts baby in the corner, let's talk about how she actually shows up. This is after the algorithm where we take the plant back from the headline. So, what can we actually say about chamomile? Chamomile is not more interesting because she secretly does everything. She is more interesting because her real lanes are uber specific. She is calm, she is digestion, tension, but preparation and context matter. And that is the chamomile that I want people to meet. Because yes, chamomile has a calm lane. That part is absolutely not fake. But I think people hear calming herb and immediately flatten that into a sleepy tea. Like chamomile's whole job is to just tuck you in at night and disappear. And honestly, that's rude to the flower. Chamomile is not a sedation hammer. She is more like someone turning the lights down in the room. Less knock me unconscious and more, can we please stop clenching every muscle in my body like I'm preparing for battle? And that matters because calm is not always about sleep. Sometimes calm is digestive. Sometimes calm is muscular. Sometimes calm is your nervous system finally getting the memo that we're not, in fact, being chased by wolves or a herd of children. I'm sorry, I'm a mom. I have 5 kids. That's always going to be my reference. This is where chamomile gets much more interesting than bedtime tea. One of her most practical lanes is the gut. Chamomile has a long traditional digestive history, and this is one of those places where the plant makes sense in real life because stress and digestion love to be in a group project together, and you get tense, and then your stomach gets weird, and then you get more tense, and it's like a vicious cycle. And the next thing you know, now your mind's involved and everything is just spiraling. Chamomile sits really beautifully though in that like tension digestion overlap. Not as a miracle, not as a replacement for like medical care, obviously, notes of like disclaimers here, but as a gentle, bitter, aromatic, softening plant that belongs in the conversation around stressy digestion, gas, cramping, nervous stomach, and that like my whole abdomen is holding a grudge feeling. That is a much better lane than just drink this before bed. And this is also where preparation matters. Chamomile tea, chamomile glycerate, chamomile glycerite, chamomile capsules, chamomile used externally, chamomile baths, chamomile compresses. These are not all the same conversation. We have to be careful when we're talking about chamomile or any herb because preparation changes what you're extracting, how you're going to use it, and what kind of support you're even talking about. And that's why I care so much about people learning the plant beyond the caption, because chamomile is calming isn't wrong. It's just incomplete. And she can do so much more for a whole lot more people if we know more about her and what exactly we're dealing with. So that is where herbalism gets real and gets useful. And chamomile has the menstrual comfort hormone adjacent conversations worth looking at. And I touched on that more in the miscast episode, but I want to keep her where she is so often underappreciated. And that is the gut. The nerves, the muscles, the places where tension and digestion keep passing notes in the hallway to each other. Like, hey, this is messed up. Like, no, chamomile was like, no, it's not. And that's a beautiful plant profile. And that's enough. Chamomile doesn't need to be reduced to a bedtime tea, and she doesn't need to be inflated either into a cure-all like how we talked about in nettle, curing half the human condition. She just needs to be placed correctly. Soft does not mean simple. Gentle does not mean weak. Familiar does not mean boring. Chamomile is a perfect example of why the plants we think we already know are often the ones that we need to look at again. So that's enough rambling, I guess. This has been After the Algorithm, where we take the plant back from the headline. And if you want free plant monographs, bench tools, herbal education without the paywall, that's on the Wild Medicine Apothecary website. And until then, go deeper than the headline and drink some chamomile tea. And I'll see you in the next one.